After a long pause, hello and welcome again to ESG reporting series, in which I, Harshit Sinha, your host, will narrate the India's SEBI, BRSR and GRI standards, a comprehensive linkage framework at intermediate stage of layering. The integration of SEBI's business responsibility and sustainability reporting BRSR framework with the Global Reporting Initiative GRI Standards represents a significant advancement in India's sustainability reporting landscape. BRSR provides a principle-based regulatory structure tailored to Indian corporates, while GRI offers globally recognized impact-oriented disclosure standards. Together, they create a comprehensive linkage framework that enhances consistency, comparability, and credibility of ESG disclosures. This linkage enables organizations to align BRSR sections A, B, and C with relevant GRI universal and topic standards, ensuring that policy commitments, governance practices, and performance indicators are supported by robust, internationally accepted metrics. It reduces reporting fragmentation, strengthens SDG alignment, and facilitates transparent communication of economic, environmental, and social impacts. Strategically, the SEBI, BRSR, and GRI linkage positions Indian companies to meet evolving regulatory expectations, attract global investors, and demonstrate accountable contributions to sustainable development, transforming sustainability reporting from a compliance exercise into a driver of long-term value creation. Slide 2. Evolution of corporate reporting. The evolution of corporate reporting reflects a fundamental shift in how organizations define value and accountability. Traditionally, reporting focused almost exclusively on financial performance, emphasizing profitability, assets, and shareholder returns. While essential, this approach offered limited insight into how businesses affected society, the environment, and long-term economic stability. Integrated reporting marked the next phase by connecting financial results with governance, strategy, risks, and opportunities. It encouraged organizations to explain how value is created over time by considering multiple capitals, including human, social, and natural capital. Today, sustainability-first disclosure represents a more advanced and holistic model. It places environmental, social, and governance (ESG) impact at the core of corporate reporting, aligning business performance with planetary boundaries and societal well-being. Frameworks such as GRI, BRSR, and SDG-aligned reporting emphasize transparency, impact measurement, and stakeholder accountability. This evolution demonstrates a clear transition from profit-centric reporting to inclusive, long-term value creation that supports resilient businesses and sustainable development. Slide 3. About GRI standards. The Global Reporting Initiative, GRI. Standards represent the world's most widely adopted framework for sustainability reporting, providing a robust and credible foundation for transparent corporate disclosure. Established in 1997, GRI pioneered the concept of standardized sustainability reporting, enabling organizations to systematically communicate their economic, environmental, and social impacts. Today, the GRI standards are used by over 10,000 organizations across more than 100 countries, reflecting their global relevance and acceptance. GRI follows a modular and flexible structure, comprising universal, topic, and sector standards, which allows organizations of all sizes and sectors to report in a manner that is both comprehensive and context-specific. A defining feature of the GRI framework is its stakeholder-inclusive, impact-based materiality approach, which prioritizes issues based on their significance to the economy, environment, and people. By emphasizing comparability, accountability, and impact transparency, the GRI standards support informed decision-making and align corporate reporting with global sustainability and development objectives. Slide 4. GRI Standards Architecture. The GRI Standards Architecture is designed as a coherent, modular system that enables consistent yet flexible sustainability reporting across sectors and geographies. At its foundation are the GRI Universal Standards, GRI-1, Foundation, GRI-2, General Disclosures, and GRI-3, Material Topics. These establish the core reporting principles, organizational context, and an impact-based materiality process, ensuring disclosures are credible, comparable, and decision-useful. Building on this base are the topic-specific standards, which provide detailed disclosure requirements across economic, GRI 200, environmental, GRI 300, and social, GRI 400 dimensions. These standards translate material topics into measurable indicators and performance metrics. At the apex are the sector standards, which address sector-specific impacts and risks, enhancing relevance and comparability within industries. Together, this tiered architecture enables organizations to tailor reporting to their context while maintaining global consistency, supporting transparent communication of sustainability, impacts, and alignment with international ESG and development frameworks. Slide 5. Why GRI standards matter? GRI standards matter because they provide a globally trusted foundation for transparent, credible, and comparable sustainability reporting. By adopting a multi-stakeholder approach, GRI ensures that disclosures address the information needs of investors, employees, regulators, communities, and civil society, thereby strengthening trust and corporate accountability. This inclusivity enhances the legitimacy of sustainability reports and supports informed decision-making across stakeholder groups. GRI standards also enable international comparability and benchmarking. Their standardized disclosures allow organizations to measure performance consistently across regions, sectors, and time, helping stakeholders assess relative sustainability impacts and progress. This comparability is especially valuable in an increasingly globalized and regulated ESG landscape. For investors and financial institutions, GRI-based reporting improves confidence by enhancing transparency around material, economic, environmental, and social impact. Clear, reliable disclosures reduce information asymmetry, support risk assessment, and facilitate capital allocation toward responsible and resilient businesses, ultimately contributing to long-term value creation and sustainable development. Slide 6. About SEBI and the BRSR framework. The Securities and Exchange Board of India, SEBI, is the country's primary capital market regulator, responsible for protecting investor interests and promoting transparent, orderly, and fair markets. In line with India's evolving sustainability and governance priorities, SEBI introduced the Business Responsibility and Sustainability Reporting (BRSR) framework to strengthen non-financial disclosure by listed companies. From FY 2022 to 23 onwards, BRSR has been mandated for the top 1,000 listed entities by market capitalization, replacing the earlier Business Responsibility Report (BRR). The framework is anchored in 9 principles derived from the National Guidelines on Responsible Business Conduct (NGRBC), covering environmental stewardship, social responsibility, ethical governance, human rights, consumer protection, and stakeholder engagement. BRSR adopts a structured, principle-based approach with quantitative and qualitative disclosures, enabling comparability and accountability. Importantly, it is designed to align with global sustainability frameworks such as GRI, while retaining India's specific regulatory and development priorities, thereby bridging domestic compliance with international ESG expectations. Slide 7. BRSR Structure. Overview. The Business Responsibility and Sustainability Reporting (BRSR) framework follows a clear, structured architecture designed to ensure comprehensive and consistent ESG disclosures by listed entities in India. It is organized into 3 interlinked sections that collectively capture context, governance, and performance. Section A. General Disclosures provides foundational information about the organization, including its profile, products and services, operations, workforce composition, and value chain. This section establishes the context necessary to interpret sustainability performance. Section B. Management and Process Disclosures focuses on governance mechanisms, policies, and processes adopted to implement the 9 principles of responsible business conduct. It highlights leadership oversight, risk management, stakeholder engagement, and due diligence systems. Section C. Principle-wise performance. Disclosures presents quantitative and qualitative indicators aligned with each of the 9 BRSR principles, enabling measurement of actual ESG outcomes. Together, these sections ensure transparency, comparability, and accountability while supporting alignment with global sustainability reporting frameworks such as GRI. Slide 8. SEBI Business Responsibility and Sustainability Reporting (BRSR) Framework. The SEBI Business Responsibility and Sustainability Reporting (BRSR) framework represents a significant advancement in India's corporate disclosure landscape, embedding sustainability and responsible business conduct into mainstream reporting. Mandated for the top 1,000 listed entities by market capitalization, the framework strengthens transparency, comparability, and accountability in environmental, social, and governance (ESG) disclosures. BRSR is grounded in the National Guidelines on Responsible Business Conduct (NGRBC) and is structured around 9 principles that address ethical governance, human rights, environmental stewardship, employee well-being, consumer protection, and inclusive development. The framework is organized into 3 sections: general disclosures, management and process disclosures, and principle-wise performance disclosures, ensuring both contextual clarity and outcome-based reporting. Importantly, BRSR is designed to align with leading international frameworks, including the Global Reporting Initiative, GRI, enhancing global comparability while retaining India-specific regulatory relevance. By integrating sustainability into corporate reporting, the BRSR framework supports informed investor decision-making and long-term value creation. Slide 9. Evolution of Sustainability Reporting. The evolution of sustainability reporting in India reflects a progressive shift from voluntary responsibility disclosures to structured, mandatory ESG reporting. The journey began in 2011 with the introduction of the National Voluntary Guidelines, later refined as the National Guidelines on Responsible Business Conduct (NGRBC), which established the foundational principles for ethical, social, and environmental accountability. In 2012, SEBI introduced the Business Responsibility Report (BRR) for the top 100 listed companies, marking the first formal step towards standardized non-financial disclosure. This initiative expanded the scope of corporate accountability beyond financial performance. A major milestone was achieved in 2021 with the introduction of the Business Responsibility and Sustainability Reporting (BRSR) framework designed to enhance depth, comparability, and outcome-oriented disclosures. From 2022 onwards, BRSR became mandatory for the top 1,000 listed entities. This evolution demonstrates India's commitment to integrating sustainability into corporate governance and aligning domestic reporting with global ESG and sustainable development expectations. Slide 10. Section A. Overview, Corporate Identity and Operations. Section A of the Business Responsibility and Sustainability Reporting (BRSR) framework focuses on corporate identity and operations, providing essential contextual information about the reporting entity. This section establishes the foundation for interpreting sustainability performance by outlining who the organization is, what it does, and where it operates. Disclosures include basic corporate details, products and services, number and location of operations, and markets served, enabling stakeholders to understand the scale and geographic footprint of the business. Section A also captures information on employees and workers, participation in industry or business associations, and the transparency of the corporate structure. These disclosures offer insights into workforce composition, operational complexity, and external affiliations that may influence sustainability risks and opportunities. Additionally, contact information for stakeholder queries enhances accessibility and accountability. Overall, Section A ensures clarity, comparability, and transparency by setting the organizational context, which is critical for meaningful assessment of ESG practices and performance reported in subsequent sections of the BRSR framework. Slide 11. BRSR Framework Architecture. The Business Responsibility and Sustainability Reporting BRSR Framework architecture is designed as a tiered and integrated structure that ensures comprehensive, transparent, and outcome-oriented sustainability disclosures. At its base, Section A. General disclosures provides essential contextual information about the organization, including corporate identity, operations, workforce, and value chain presence. This foundational layer enables stakeholders to understand the business context in which sustainability performance is generated. Built upon this is Section B, Management and Process Disclosures, which focuses on governance, policies, and systems adopted to implement responsible business practices. It captures board oversight, risk management, stakeholder engagement, and due diligence processes aligned with the 9 BRSR principles, demonstrating how sustainability is embedded in decision-making. At the apex is Section C, Principle-Wise Performance Disclosures, which presents quantitative and qualitative indicators for each of the 9 principles. This layered architecture ensures logical progression from context to governance to measurable outcomes, enhancing comparability, accountability, and alignment with global ESG frameworks such as GRI. Slide 12. Corporate Details and Structure. Corporate details and structure form a critical component of transparent sustainability reporting under the BRSR framework. This section provides clear and verifiable information on the company's legal identity, including incorporation details, registration numbers, and registered office locations. Such disclosures establish the organization's legal standing and jurisdictional context, which are essential for regulatory oversight and stakeholder trust. Information on paid-up capital and stock exchange listings offers insight into the company's ownership structure, market presence, and financial scale. These details help investors and analysts understand the organization's capital base, listing status, and alignment with capital market regulations. Additionally, disclosure of corporate addresses, both registered and operational, illustrates the geographic footprint of the organization. Designated contact details for sustainability or ESG-related queries further enhance accountability and stakeholder engagement. Collectively, transparent reporting of corporate details and structure strengthens governance credibility, supports comparability, and provides a reliable foundation for interpreting sustainability, performance, and responsible business practices across the organization. Slide 13. Business Activities, Products and Services Portfolio. The disclosure of business activities, products and services portfolio under the BRSR framework provides a clear overview of an organization's core economic activities and value creation model. This section requires companies to report their key product categories and service offerings mapped to relevant National Industrial Classification (NIC) codes and business segments. Such classification enhances consistency, comparability, and regulatory alignment across industries. Detailed descriptions of products and services help stakeholders understand the nature of operations, value proposition, and potential sustainability impacts associated with different business lines. Importantly, disclosure of revenue contribution from each segment, expressed as a percentage of total turnover, offers insight into the relative materiality of products and services. By linking business activities with financial contribution, this section enables stakeholders to assess sustainability risks, opportunities, and impacts in proportion to economic significance. Overall, transparent reporting on products and services strengthens strategic clarity, supports ESG analysis, and lays the foundation for meaningful evaluation of sustainability performance across the organization's operations. Slide 14. Operational footprint and market reach. Operational footprint and market reach disclosures under the BRSR framework provide a comprehensive view of an organization's geographic presence and scale of operations. This section captures the number and location of manufacturing plants, offices, and other operational sites, offering insight into the organization's national and international footprint. Such information helps stakeholders assess exposure to region-specific regulatory, environmental, and social risks. Disclosures on the number of states and countries of operation, along with local and export market proportions, illustrate market diversification and dependence on domestic or international demand. These indicators are particularly relevant for evaluating supply chain complexity, geopolitical exposure, and resilience to market disruptions. Geographical diversity metrics further support sustainability analysis by linking operational presence to issues such as resource use, labor practices, environmental sensitivity, and community impact across regions. Overall, transparent reporting on operational footprint and market reach enhances contextual understanding of sustainability performance, supports comparability, and enables informed assessment of strategic growth, risk management, and long-term value creation. Slide 15. Employees and workers, comprehensive demographics. The disclosure on employees and workers, comprehensive demographics under the BRSR framework provides a detailed picture of an organization's workforce composition and labor profile. It captures total permanent employees, disaggregated by gender, along with information on workers engaged through contract and temporary arrangements. This level of granularity supports transparency on employment models and workforce diversity. The section also highlights the participation of women across different categories, including managerial and technical roles, reflecting progress toward inclusion and gender equity. Turnover and retention metrics offer insights into workforce stability, employee engagement, and organizational culture, which are critical indicators of long-term human capital sustainability. Additionally, disclosures on worker safety and well-being, including occupational health and safety indicators, demonstrate the organization's commitment to protecting its workforce. Collectively, comprehensive workforce demographics enable stakeholders to assess labor practices, inclusivity, and social performance while supporting alignment with responsible business conduct, ESG expectations, and global reporting standards such as GRI. Slide 16. Management disclosures. Governance foundation. Management disclosures under Section B of the BRSR framework focus on the governance foundation that enables a responsible and sustainable business conduct. This section explains how sustainability principles are translated into organizational policies, management systems, and operational processes. Companies are required to disclose policies and standard operating procedures aligned with each of the 9 BRSR principles, demonstrating formal commitment and accountability. Equally important are disclosures on governance structures, including board and senior management oversight of sustainability initiatives. These disclosures highlight how ESG considerations are embedded into strategic decision-making and risk management frameworks. The section also addresses assessment and monitoring mechanisms, ensuring that policies are implemented effectively and performance is tracked consistently. Stakeholder consultation processes and GRI redressal mechanisms form another critical component, reflecting responsiveness to stakeholder concerns. Finally, disclosures on performance evaluation and continuous improvement underscore the organization's commitment to strengthening sustainability outcomes over time, reinforcing transparency, credibility, and long-term value creation. Slide 17. Policies across 9 principles. Policies across the 9 principles form the backbone of the BRSR framework, translating responsible business commitments into formal, actionable governance instruments. Organizations are required to formulate written policies for each principle, approved by the board or appropriate governing authority. These policies articulate the company's commitments across environmental stewardship, social responsibility, ethical conduct, human rights, consumer protection, and stakeholder engagement. Beyond formulation, effective implementation is critical. Companies must disclose how these policies are operationalized through clearly defined procedures, roles, and accountability mechanisms. Assigning responsibilities across management levels ensures that policy intent is embedded into day-to-day operations and decision-making processes. Transparency is reinforced through disclosure requirements that emphasize public availability and accessibility of policies, typically via corporate websites or sustainability reports. This openness enables stakeholders to assess the organization's commitments and governance maturity. Collectively, robust policy formulation, implementation, and disclosure across the 9 principles demonstrate structured governance, enhance accountability, and provide a credible foundation for measurable sustainability performance and continuous improvement. Slide 18. Sustainability Governance Architecture. A robust sustainability governance architecture is essential for embedding responsible business conduct into organizational strategy and operations. At the apex of this structure is the Board of Directors, which holds ultimate oversight responsibility for sustainability, ensuring alignment with corporate purpose, regulatory expectations, and long-term value creation. Board-level engagement signals accountability and integrates ESG considerations into strategic decision-making. Supporting the board is a dedicated sustainability committee responsible for providing strategic guidance, monitoring performance, and overseeing progress against sustainability goals and commitments. This committee acts as a critical link between governance intent and management execution. Management teams play a central role in implementing sustainability policies across business units, translating strategic objectives into operational actions. Clear reporting lines and escalation mechanisms ensure accountability, timely issue resolution, and performance tracking. Together, this layered governance architecture strengthens transparency, risk management, and continuous improvement, enabling organizations to deliver credible sustainability outcomes aligned with frameworks such as BRSR and GRI. Slide 19. Monitoring, assessment, and assurance processes. Monitoring, assessment, and assurance processes are critical to ensuring the credibility, accuracy, and effectiveness of sustainability reporting under the BRSR framework. Regular internal audits and compliance reviews help organizations evaluate the implementation of policies, identify gaps, and ensure adherence to regulatory and internal requirements. These reviews strengthen internal controls and support timely corrective action. Performance monitoring is enabled through defined key performance indicators, KPIs, and targets aligned with each BRSR principle. Periodic tracking, often on a quarterly or annual basis, allows management to assess progress, compare results over time, and drive evidence-based decision-making. Independent third-party verification further enhances reliability by providing external assurance over reported data and processes. Such assurance builds stakeholder confidence and reduces the risk of misreporting or greenwashing. Finally, a focus on continuous improvement ensures that findings from audits and assurance engagements are translated into corrective measures, process enhancements, and performance upgrades. Collectively, these processes reinforce transparency, accountability, and long-term sustainability performance. Slide 20. Stakeholder Identification and Engagement Framework. A structured stakeholder identification and engagement framework is central to effective sustainability governance under the BRSR framework. It begins with systematically identifying key stakeholder groups that influence or are affected by the organization's activities. These typically include shareholders and investors, employees and workers, customers and consumers, suppliers and business partners, industry associations, regulators, communities, and civil society organizations. Once identified, the framework emphasizes tailored engagement mechanisms aligned with stakeholder expectations and material issues. Engagement channels may include annual and quarterly investor interactions, internal communications, and consultations with employees, customer feedback systems, supplier meetings, regulatory reporting, and community outreach initiatives. Regular two-way engagement helps organizations understand stakeholder concerns, assess risks and opportunities, and inform strategic and operational decisions. By embedding stakeholder inputs into governance, policy formulation, and performance monitoring, organizations enhance transparency, responsiveness, and trust. Effective stakeholder engagement strengthens accountability, supports materiality assessments, and enables responsible business conduct aligned with BRSR principles and global sustainability standards such as GRI. Slide 21. Principle-wise performance disclosures. Alignment with GRI standards. Principle-wise performance disclosures aligned with the GRI standards represent the most outcome-oriented dimension of sustainability reporting. They translate high-level policies and governance commitments into measurable, comparable, and decision-useful ESG indicators. By mapping each principle to relevant GRI disclosures, organizations demonstrate how ethical intent, social responsibility, and environmental stewardship are operationalized across business activities and value chains. This alignment enhances transparency, mitigates risks of superficial or narrative-driven reporting, and strengthens stakeholder confidence through globally recognized metrics. Ultimately, principle-wise, GRI-aligned disclosures enable credible performance evaluation, support regulatory compliance, and position sustainability reporting as a strategic tool for accountability, value creation, and long-term resilience. To know more about on linking the GRI standards with the SEBI's BRSR framework, register for advanced course with lawasa.com. Slide 22. Principle 1. Ethics, transparency, and accountability. Alignment with GRI standards. Principle 1 of SEBI's Business Responsibility and Sustainability. Reporting. BRSR framework focuses on conducting business with integrity, transparency, and accountability. It requires organizations to establish strong ethical foundations, promote responsible governance, and ensure compliance with laws, regulations, and voluntary commitments. This principle underpins stakeholder trust and sets the tone for responsible business conduct across all operations and value chains. The alignment of Principle 1 with the Global Reporting Initiative (GRI) standards is primarily anchored in GRI 205, Anti-Corruption, GRI 206, Anti-Competitive Behavior, and GRI 2, General Disclosures, Governance, and Ethics. GRI 205 enables organizations to disclose corruption, risk assessments, anti-corruption policies, training programs, and confirmed incidents with corrective actions. directly reinforcing ethical conduct and accountability. GRI 206 addresses fair competition by requiring disclosure of legal actions related to anti-competitive behavior, supporting market integrity and transparency. Further, GRI 2-9 to 2-18 provides comprehensive governance disclosures, including board structure, oversight of ethics and compliance, stakeholder engagement mechanisms, and grievances redressal systems. These disclosures explain how ethical standards are embedded in decision-making and monitored at the highest levels of the organization. Together, this alignment transforms Principle 1 from a policy-level commitment into a measurable, disclosure-driven framework, enabling stakeholders to assess organizational integrity, governance effectiveness, and accountability in a consistent and globally comparable manner. Slide 23. Principle 2. Safe and sustainable products and services. Alignment with GRI standards. Principle 2 of SEBI's BRSR framework emphasizes the responsibility of organizations to provide goods and services that are safe for consumers and environmentally sustainable across their life cycle. This principle encourages companies to integrate sustainability into product design, sourcing, manufacturing, usage, and end-of-life management, thereby minimizing adverse environmental and social impact while enhancing customer trust. The alignment of Principle 2 with the GRI standards is reflected through multiple topic-specific disclosures that collectively capture product stewardship and life cycle responsibility. GRI 416, Customer Health and Safety, directly supports this principle by requiring disclosure on product and service safety assessments, compliance with health and safety regulations, and incidents of non-compliance. These disclosures demonstrate how organizations protect consumers and ensure product safety. Environmental impacts associated with products are addressed through GRI 301, Materials, and GRI 306, Waste, which capture material consumption, recycled content, waste generation, and waste treatment practices. These standards support resource efficiency, circular economy approaches, and responsible end-of-life management. GRI 305, Emissions, further strengthens alignment by linking product life cycles and manufacturing processes to greenhouse gas emissions and reduction initiatives. Responsible communication and consumer awareness are addressed under GRI 417, Marketing and Labeling, ensuring transparent product information and responsible marketing practices. Together, these GRI standards provide a comprehensive, measurable framework for demonstrating compliance with Principle 2, enabling organizations to evidence safe, sustainable, and responsible product and service offerings in a globally comparable manner. Slide 24. Principle 3. Employee well-being and development. Alignment with GRI standards. Principle 3 of SEBI's Business Responsibility and Sustainability. Reporting. BRSR framework focuses on promoting employee well-being, ensuring safe and healthy workplaces, fostering skill development, and enabling equal opportunity and fair employment practices. This principle recognizes employees as critical stakeholders and emphasizes dignity, safety, inclusion, and continuous capability building as foundations of sustainable business performance. The alignment of Principle 3 with the Global Reporting Initiative, GRI, standards is comprehensive and outcome-oriented. GRI 403, Occupational Health and Safety, directly supports this principle by requiring disclosures on health and safety management systems, hazard identification, occupational injury rates, work-related ill health, and preventive measures. These disclosures demonstrate how organizations protect workers' physical and mental well-being. GRI 404, Training and Education, strengthens alignment by capturing investments in employee skills, average training hours, performance reviews, and lifelong learning initiatives. This reflects organizational commitment to workforce development, and future readiness. GRI 405, Diversity and Equal Opportunity, and GRI 406, Non-Discrimination, address inclusion and fairness by requiring disclosure of workforce diversity, equal remuneration, discrimination incident, and corrective actions. Employment quality and workforce stability are further covered through GRI 401, Employment, and GRI 402, Labor/Management Relations, which disclose hiring practices, benefits, employee turnover, and engagement during organizational change. Together, these GRI standards translate Principle 3 into measurable disclosures, enabling stakeholders to assess workplace practices, employee well-being, and long-term human capital sustainability in a globally comparable manner. Slide 25. Principle 4. Stakeholder, engagement and responsiveness, alignment with GRI standards. Principle 4 of SEBI's Business Responsibility and Sustainability Reporting BRSR framework emphasizes the importance of engaging with stakeholders in a transparent, inclusive, and responsive manner. Organizations are expected to identify key stakeholders, understand their expectations, assess material issues, and respond effectively to stakeholder concerns. Meaningful engagement under this principle strengthens trust, improves decision-making, and ensures that business strategies are aligned with societal and environmental priorities. The alignment of Principle 4 with the Global Reporting Initiative (GRI) standards is primarily enabled through GRI 2, General Disclosures, particularly Disclosures 2 to 6 to 2 to 29. These disclosures require organizations to explain their activities and value chains, identify stakeholders, describe engagement approaches, and disclose how stakeholder views inform strategy, risk management, and materiality assessments. This creates a clear, auditable link between stakeholder inputs and organizational actions. GRI 3, Material Topics, further strengthens this alignment by requiring organizations to disclose the process for identifying and prioritizing material impacts based on stakeholder expectations and impact significance. In addition, GRI advance mechanisms and responsiveness are addressed through disclosures on complaint handling and remediation processes, demonstrating accountability and continuous engagement. Together, GRI 2 and GRI 3 translate Principle 4 into a structured, disclosure-driven framework. This alignment enables organizations to demonstrate systematic stakeholder identification, meaningful engagement, effective GRI advance redressal, and responsive governance, ensuring that stakeholder perspectives are embedded within sustainable and responsible business conduct. Slide 26. Principle 5. Human Rights, Protection and Promotion, Alignment with GRI Standards. Principle 5 of SEBI's Business Responsibility and Sustainability Reporting BRSR framework focuses on respecting, protecting, and promoting human rights across an organization's operations and value chain. It requires companies to identify, prevent, mitigate, and remedy adverse human rights impacts arising from their activities, business relationships, products, and services. This principle places strong emphasis on due diligence, non-discrimination, safe working conditions, ethical labor practices, and accessible GRI advance redressal mechanisms. The alignment of Principle 5 with the Global Reporting Initiative (GRI) standards is comprehensive and impact-oriented. GRI 2, General Disclosures, particularly Disclosures 223 and 224, require organizations to articulate their human rights commitments and explain how these commitments are embedded in policies and practices. GRI 403 supports the protection of workers' health and safety, while GRI 407, freedom of association and collective bargaining, ensures respect for fundamental labor rights. Critical risks related to exploitation are addressed through GRI 408, child labor, and GRI 409, forced or compulsory labor, mandating disclosure of risk assessments, incidents, and corrective actions. GRI 410, security practices, ensures that security personnel are trained in human rights, reducing risks of abuse, while GRI 411, rights of indigenous peoples, addresses impacts on indigenous communities and land rights. Collectively, these GRI standards operationalize Principle 5 by providing a structured human rights disclosure framework. This alignment enables organizations to demonstrate robust due diligence, transparent risk management, and accountability across their value chains, reinforcing credible and responsible human rights governance. Slide 27. Principle 6. Environmental Stewardship. Alignment with GRI Standards. Principle 6 of SEBI's Business Responsibility and Sustainability Reporting (BRSR) framework emphasizes environmental stewardship and sustainability. It requires organizations to minimize adverse environmental impacts, conserve natural resources, address climate change risks, and promote responsible consumption and production across their operations and value chains. This principle reflects the growing expectation that businesses move beyond compliance toward proactive environmental management and long-term ecological resilience. The alignment of Principle 6 with the Global Reporting Initiative (GRI) Environmental Standards 300 series provides a robust, globally comparable disclosure framework. GRI 302, Energy, and GRI 305, Emissions, directly support climate action by requiring transparent reporting on energy consumption, energy efficiency initiatives, greenhouse gas emissions, and reduction strategies. These disclosures enable stakeholders to assess climate-related performance and transition readiness. GRI 303, Water and Effluents, addresses water stewardship through disclosures on water withdrawal, consumption, discharge, and impacts in water-stressed areas, aligning closely with sustainable resource management expectations. GRI 306, Waste, supports circular economy principles by requiring reporting on waste generation, treatment methods, recycling, and waste reduction initiatives. Biodiversity protection and ecosystem management are covered under GRI 304, Biodiversity, which captures impacts on sensitive ecosystems, habitats restored, and mitigation measures. Further, GRI 308, Supplier Environmental Assessment, extends environmental responsibility across the value chain by assessing suppliers for environmental risks and compliance. Collectively, these GRI standards operationalize Principle 6 by translating environmental commitments into measurable, decision-useful disclosures. This alignment enables organizations to demonstrate credible environmental stewardship, regulatory preparedness, and meaningful contribution to sustainable development and climate resilience. Slide 28. Principle 7. Responsible Public Policy Advocacy. Alignment with GRI Standards. Principle 7 of SEBI's Business Responsibility and Sustainability Reporting (BRSR) framework focuses on responsible public policy advocacy, requiring organizations to engage with public policy, regulatory processes, and political institutions in a transparent, ethical, and accountable manner. Businesses are expected to ensure that their lobbying activities, policy positions, and political contributions align with responsible business conduct, respect democratic processes, and avoid undue influence or conflicts of interest. This principle reinforces the role of corporations as constructive participants in public governance rather than purely self-interested actors. The primary alignment of Principle 7 is with GRI 415, Public Policy, which provides a globally recognized disclosure framework for corporate political engagement. GRI 415-1 requires organizations to disclose direct and indirect political contributions, including financial and in-kind support, the beneficiaries of such contributions, and the jurisdictions in which they occur. These disclosures enhance transparency around corporate influence on public policy and allow stakeholders to assess alignment between corporate values, sustainability commitments, and policy advocacy positions. In addition, governance-related disclosures under GRI 2. General disclosures support Principle 7 by providing context on ethics policies, decision-making structures, oversight mechanisms, and stakeholder engagement related to public policy activities. Together, these standards ensure that advocacy efforts are subject to internal controls, board oversight, and ethical guidelines. By aligning Principle 7 with GRI 415, organizations can demonstrate responsible, transparent, and accountable public policy engagement. This alignment strengthens stakeholder trust, mitigates reputational and regulatory risks, and supports the development of fair, inclusive, and sustainable policy environments. Slide 29. Principle 8. Inclusive growth and equitable development. Alignment with GRI standards. Principle 8 of SEBI's Business Responsibility and Sustainability Reporting (BRSR) framework emphasizes inclusive growth and equitable development, calling on businesses to support social equity, community development, and shared value creation. It requires organizations to contribute to the well-being of communities in which they operate, particularly marginalized and vulnerable groups, through inclusive economic participation, access to opportunities, and sustainable development initiatives. This principle highlights that long-term business success is intrinsically linked to societal progress. The alignment of Principle 8 with the GRI economic and social standards provides a structured approach to measuring and disclosing these contributions. GRI 201. Economic performance supports this principle by requiring disclosure of economic value generated and distributed to employees, governments, capital providers, and communities. These disclosures illustrate how organizations share financial value and contribute to local and national economies. GRI 204. Procurement practices further strengthens inclusive growth by focusing on local sourcing and supplier spending. Reporting on procurement from local suppliers demonstrates how organizations support small and medium enterprises, SMS, stimulate local economies, and create employment opportunities across value chains. Community-focused impacts are addressed under GRI 203, Indirect Economic Impact, and GRI 413. Local communities, which capture investment in infrastructure, access to essential services, livelihood programs, and community engagement processes. These standards enable organizations to disclose how development initiatives are designed, implemented, and assessed in collaboration with stakeholders. Collectively, The alignment of Principle 8 with these GRI standards enables organizations to demonstrate measurable contributions to inclusive development, reduce socioeconomic disparities, and build resilient communities. This integrated reporting approach enhances credibility, stakeholder trust, and alignment with national and global sustainable development priorities. Slide 30. Principle 9. Customer Value and Responsibility. Alignment with GRI Standards. Principle 9 of SEBI's Business Responsibility and Sustainability Reporting (BRSR) framework focuses on delivering customer value in a responsible, transparent, and ethical manner. It requires businesses to ensure that products and services are safe, reliable, affordable, and accessible, while safeguarding consumer rights, data privacy, and well-being. The principle also emphasizes responsible marketing, transparent product information, and effective GRI redressal mechanisms, reinforcing trust between businesses and consumers in an increasingly digital and service-driven economy. The alignment of Principle 9 with GRI customer and social standards provides a globally consistent disclosure framework to evidence these commitments. GRI 4.16 Customer Health and Safety addresses product and service safety by requiring disclosure of health and safety impact assessments and incidents of non-compliance. This ensures accountability for product quality and consumer protection across the product life cycle. GRI 4.17 Marketing and Labeling strengthens transparency through disclosures on product information, labeling practices, and marketing communications, enabling consumers to make informed and responsible choices. Ethical advertising and accurate disclosures reduce misinformation and enhance brand credibility. GRI 418 Customer privacy is central to Principle 9 in the context of digitalization. It requires organizations to disclose policies, systems, and incidents related to data protection and customer privacy breaches, ensuring responsible data governance and protection of consumer rights. Together, these GRI standards operationalize Principle 9 by translating customer-centric values into measurable disclosures. This alignment enhances stakeholder confidence, mitigates regulatory and reputational risks, and demonstrates a strong commitment to responsible consumption, ethical conduct, and long-term customer trust. As we conclude this discussion, it is evident that business responsibility and sustainability reporting (BRSR) has firmly established itself as a cornerstone of ESG integration in India, while simultaneously positioning Indian enterprises within the global sustainability reporting ecosystem. Through its deliberate alignment with internationally recognized frameworks such as the Global Reporting Initiative (GRI), the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals (SDGs), and evolving global sustainability standards, BRSR significantly enhances the international credibility and comparability of Indian ESG disclosures. This alignment facilitates cross-border benchmarking, strengthens access to global capital markets, and supports multinational investors seeking transparent, consistent, and decision-useful ESG information. More importantly, BRSR acts as a strategic bridge between India's domestic regulatory expectations and global ESG best practices, enabling organizations to demonstrate responsible value creation, resilience, and long-term sustainability. In this evolving landscape, Indian industry is increasingly well-positioned to lead ESG integration globally, creating substantial opportunities for Indian ESG professionals to contribute, compete, and excel on the international stage. Thus, we request to all ESG professionals around the world. To know more about on SEBIS BRSR Global Reporting, register for Master Course with lawasa.com.